And I imagine that a lot of us are here tonight with questions, and we've heard things that maybe make us feel a little uncomfortable. We don't quite know what to do with what we've heard. And I want you to know that I know exactly how you feel. Before I went on this immigration trip, I really had no idea about issues surrounding immigration. And when people would ask me, what are you going on this trip for? I would tell them with complete and utter confidence, I have no idea. I really didn't. I knew that immigration is an issue that divides political parties apart, obviously. And what I didn't know, though, was the impact that it has on families and how this tears families apart. And now this is something that tears my heart apart when I hear about stories. And I would like to share one of the stories of a family that has been impacted by the immigration issue with you tonight. Now, I'm not saying that doing something illegal should be legal or doing something wrong is right, but what I am saying is there's got to be a better way than what we're doing now. And it really doesn't matter what side of the fence you stand on, if you want a higher wall or you want more flexibleness in the border. I think we can all agree that what's happening now is not working, and something has to change, or else families will continue to be torn apart. There was a shelter that we visited, the Migrant Resource, I think it's called the Migrant Resource Shelter, and this place is a place where people who are deported back to Mexico can go to get some of their basic human needs met. Because many times people travel hundreds and hundreds of miles just to cross the border, and so when they get deported back, they're not necessarily back home just because they're back in Mexico. And they are thirsty and hungry and tired, and they need these basic human needs met. And this migrant shelter provides that for them. And this is where I met a very endearing man whose name is Abel. And his story really resonated with me, not resonated, but stuck with me after I met him. And as I was laying in bed, after meeting Abel that night in our hotel room, I was laying in bed, I squeezed my eyes tightly and I tried to put myself in his shoes. I just tried to imagine what he had endured and his story. And so I squeezed my eyes tightly and I imagined I'm a father who came to the U.S. a few years ago to save my family's life. I could not feed them. They were starving, and I had to do something about it. I risked our lives to give us life. And I lived in Washington State as a contractor with my 3 children and my wife. And then I received news that my parents were sick. So I made the decision to go back to Mexico to care for them as they were ailing. And when they had passed away, I wanted to go back to see my family. I wanted to be reunited with my family. And I know hundreds of miles separate us, but I am willing to risk death to be with them again. And not only do I want to see my wife and hug her and give her a kiss, but I want to see my youngest child, who I've never met. I had to leave my wife when she was pregnant, and now I have a child who I've never held as she's falling asleep, or I've never given her a bath, or watched her totter around as she's taking her first steps. I don't know who my daughter is. What I do know is I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I want to be with my family. And I've tried crossing the border several times. I've broken my leg, I've been bitten by a snake, I was detained by Border Patrol for 17 hours without any food or water, even though I begged for it. And it's not their policy to go that long without feeding me. I know this. So this is who I am, tired, thirsty, missing my family like crazy. As I laid in bed that night in our hotel room, his words, so sad, so sad, so sad, rang in my ears. And the love in his eyes reminded me of the love of our Heavenly Father, a kind of love that is never stopping, always and forever, everlasting kind of love. This love is beyond borders.